Coaching isn't therapy, it's product development with you as the product, the Fast Company. Hey guys, thank you for joining me today on the episode. We have an awesome and amazing guest. I have Holly Golebiowski here. She's owner of Holly G Coaching. She is a long-term friend and mentor and leader to myself. So I'm super excited to have her here today. We're going to talk about leader skills and coaching in general. So welcome, Holly. So excited to have you here.
Thank you, Monica. I'm very excited to be here myself.
That's awesome. So look, you and I have a long history, and there have been times when you've been my supervisor, you've been my mentor, and you've led me through the years. And more recently within my business, you offer executive coaching to myself and my team. And that's been such a blessing and such an advantage. And I'm so thankful and grateful to have you, not only as a friend, but as a mentor and as a coach to help guide me in the uncharted waters of entrepreneurship. So talk to me a little bit about leadership skills and, why is it so important? And, I love the quote that was on your site, because I sometimes do feel like you are my therapist, but it really is product development, and I am the product, or my team is. So talk to us about your offerings and, the advantages and disadvantages of leader skills.
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing to know is that there is, a difference between the coaching that I do and the leader skills program. Leader skills was invented by this amazing coach, Nan O'Connor, who is local to Atlanta. And I started working with her a long time ago as my coach. And then I was lucky enough that I got to start working with her as an employee of her company, which is something I do in addition to my coaching. But leader skills is just, I'm a graduate, so I get really excited talking about it. But it's an amazing program that helps people become leaders. Most companies don't realize that you can teach the technical aspect of a job all day long, but if you are putting people into leadership roles, there's just not enough training out there for that. And then a lot of times people are in these leadership roles who have never been trained themselves how to be leaders. So how can they train leaders to be leaders? It's kind of this really just snowball effect of nobody really knows the right way to do it. So what leader skills is just something Nan has developed over her, I think it's an obscene amount of years, in a good way, not in a bad way. She'd hate if I was suggesting she was old. But she's just learned the things that come up over and over and over and over in her experience that are just leader lacking problems. So she's developed this program, and I would define it as no bullshit training to become a better leader. It's virtual. You are on a call or a Zoom meeting once every couple weeks, talking about what you learned. But in reality, you're learning in really at work every day. You take a session, which has online things. You can look at videos, you have side materials, you get homework to do. It's nothing crazy or doesn't take a lot of work, but it just is. It makes a big difference right away. You can implement it as soon as you read through the program, and as soon as you watch the 5-minute video clip, you're like, wow, I can take this, and it works. It actually helps you become a better leader right away. So,
so when I had leader skills with Nan, or did I go through leader skills in my past with Nan, or was it a version of that?
It is pretty much the same thing. She has since kind of redone a few of the sessions you attended, but it is very much the same program.
Yeah, so I can share too, as somebody that has participated in that. When Holly and I worked together in the past, fortunately, our employer invested in us by way of Nan. I don't know if you brought Nan to us. I think you did, actually, reflecting back. And I think you're absolutely right. With my industry now, I'm deployed at an asset filling in for maternity leave. But, time and time again, we see the leaders that are in place that haven't necessarily been trained the skill set that leader skills coaching does enable you to embrace and own. And so there are things that I've picked up from my training through that process and still utilize today. And so you're 100% correct. I think I've witnessed, and no judgment at all, I've witnessed in my career, just by way of being in the industry so long, when I started in the industry, managers were my age now, they weren't as young as they are. And so we've seen that change, especially in the property management multifamily space, where, our managers of our multi-million-dollar assets are very young. And so they haven't had the advantage of having the experience and the, just the overall opportunity that time provides, the lessons that you learn along the way. And so I think having an opportunity and being able to invest in your team through a program like Leader Skills is super advantageous. There's things that your nonviolent communication. It's not about being violent. It's about how to, process a situation and say, this is how it made me feel, and this is my takeaway from it, and here's what I need from you, to help people really map out, the journey that they face just trying to wade the waters of being a leader,
Absolutely. And I think the great point there is, like you mentioned, I brought Nan to the company we were at the time because I was a new regional. I've been taken from the field to the home office, which is a huge jump for so many people. Mm-hmm. And there's no way to prepare for that without proper training. And there was no one really in a position to be able to help me bridge that gap. So I went from being almost fired, which was the first time in my life that almost happened, and I was scared out of my mind, to being back to being a mentor to, people at my level within 6 months. And within, I think, 7 years, I was a CEO of a company. So it's all, I credit all of it to this program. It gives you so many tools that help make you a better leader. And I think my team would have told you, you were part of the team that I went from being like a crazy boss to really, really hopefully developing a much better team.
Well, what's interesting, it just popped into my head too, is thinking about it come full circle, because I didn't experience that other side of you that you referenced necessarily. But I do think that, or I was not aware of it. I think for me too, though, I know when I reached a point in my career where, I was the fixer and my plate runneth over in quantity of assets, the thing that you really drove into me that I still utilize today is, work-life balance and the importance of it. And I remember that, I would travel and I would leave on Sunday night or Monday, and then I wouldn't come home until Friday. And you were like, you have to leave on Tuesday and you have to be in your house by 5 p.m. on Thursday. And you owe it to everybody else to be the best you can be. And so, one of the quotes I say to my team now, and I've carried from, and I don't think you said this to me in these exact words or this quote, but you can't pour from an empty cup. And yep. I didn't allow myself to refill my cup. I was constantly on the go. And so it's so easy to carry that burden and weight and be so hard on yourself in your journey to being a leader that you don't think about those things and how important they are. So that was a really good takeaway for me from that time.
Thank you. Yeah. That makes me feel good, because that was something everybody thinks working harder is better, but there is a point at which working harder is less effective. So that was very important to me with the team back then, and always.
Yeah, it still is. And I think that's a good message for the leaders of today, even that are contemplating that maybe have not had the advantage of participating or having somebody invest in leader skills for them. I think, as owners of businesses, and I really think a lot of people post-pandemic are opening businesses. We're seeing a lot more entrepreneurs and a lot of people that are wanting to work from home and work remote. And I think, one thing that people probably aren't thinking about, we saw a massive amount of women leave the workforce during the pandemic. And I think what women bring to the workplace is different than what men bring. It's not that it's better or that men can't bring it. It's just not innate, in my opinion. So I kind of worry and contemplate and think through, what does the workforce look like going forward with a lot of those women not re-entering the workforce, and really, what does that mean? And in my opinion, businesses that either have workers that are working remote or that have had a mass exodus of females, they, I think, in my opinion, are going to need leader skills the most, because you've got to be able to connect with your team, even if they're spread out. And then you we're missing that dynamic that the females bring to the workplace in regards to the multitasking. It's not that men don't multitask. I just think women it's innate in us that we've got to feed the babies, cook the dinner, wash the kids, do the laundry, cook the dinner, all those things, and still show up and do a good job at work every day. So are you seeing any like businesses, or are you seeing any change in your work where you're seeing more people reach out for leader skills, or anything like that?
I would say that it was very quiet for a while because nobody wanted to spend extra money on anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is starting to pick up with a lot of interest. And like you mentioned, from the smaller businesses, the entrepreneurs. And, that's our sweet spot. I mean, we can make the biggest impact for the lowest amount of money for companies that are mid-sized to small size. So those are really the ones that we're starting to hear from, which has been exciting. But I guess to your point, what's fascinating to me is just, as you know, I have 7 brothers. People have always said I communicate like a man. And that was what I guess they were trying to train out of me over the years. But I think that is a great point, just as the workforce changes and learning how to properly communicate. I used to make the mistake of just saying, hey, do this. And people would not do it or not do it right. I'm like, I don't know. I don't have time to just do your job. I'm paying you a lot of money, do your job. So I think that what people are going to find is they're starting companies just because they're great at selling or great at developing some software program or great at whatever it is they're starting their company in, doesn't translate to leading a team. And that is really where a big crux of being an entrepreneur, it's where the buck stops. If you can't get your team on board to do what you're trying to do and see your vision, you really are going to struggle and have a hard time. So that's where leader skills really comes in.
I love that. So if people want to learn more about leader skills and about what you guys offer, where is the best way for them to contact you or learn more?
Yeah, I think two different things. One, I would definitely take a look at the website because it shows the different classes that are available. There's 2 different sessions you can do, 6 different sessions in each. There's a lot of material, but that is leaderskills.training is the website. And also I can be reached by email anytime at info@leaderskills.training.
That's awesome. That's perfect. Yeah, I think you're right. And I think people aren't thinking about, I know the massive amount of women that left the workforce, whether it be via layoff or whatever during the pandemic. A lot of people are following their passion, which I'm super passionate, and I love it when people are passionate about what they're doing, just like you're so passionate about leader skills, and I totally see why. But I don't think everyone's aware yet of the dynamic and what that looks like of being that leader. And I've learned so much along with your help through the last, almost 3 years now, that has helped me continue to move forward and work through those anomalies that I maybe have not had experience in dealing with before. So 100% agree that investing in your team and in yourself, just that self-investment, is so critical and important. Again, for the reader or listeners, you can't pour from an empty cup. Sometimes your cup's bone dry and there's nothing left to give. And so investing in yourself and taking the time to set aside to work with a coach or to take a leader skills training and program and utilize it and learn from them is only going to better you, but also better your business as a whole. So for sure.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to share with anybody listening today?
I think the only other thought I'm having is just, what's important now is nobody knows how this is going to evolve. As people are going back to work, I'm seeing a big trend and a lot of negativity for people that are being called back to the office. So that's another piece where, executive coaching and leader skills can really come into play and teach people how to deal with that. There is so much volatility right now in the workplace. Managing all of that is going to be a big unknown for a lot of people, and acknowledging you don't have all the answers and trying to learn to be better it's something we all should do.
I agree. I think too, I hadn't thought about this till you just said it, but literally it's interesting to me about the people there is definitely a difference in post-pandemic work ethic and pre-pandemic work ethic. So you're seeing a lot of those workhorses that, you know, just threw themselves into their job, and post-pandemic, they're not really doing the same thing anymore. I don't know if it's a comfort level. I know for myself, you know, just reacclimating myself to travel and to be present and to get back on the books of being out there has been, you know, quite a challenge. And you're like, you know, a day in the past pre-pandemic was easy peasy lemon squeezy. I go get it, no problem, we're good. Now it's like pulling teeth, even just to find employees, not only that, but to get the ones that you have to be motivated and to really share your passion, your vision, and your drive. And I think that leader skills absolutely plays a part in that and a factor in that. So
absolutely.
If you need leadership skills and leader training, I really, really encourage you guys to reach out to Holly. She works with Nan. I've worked with both of them. It has always been a pleasure. It has helped me tremendously in my career. And I'm just thankful and blessed that someone invested in me. And I encourage each of you business owners or listeners, if you're wanting to invest in yourself, it helps you not just with your work life. It helps you in communicating with your spouse. It helps you in communicating with your friends, your family. I mean, it's
great point.
Really, yeah, it's bigger than just that. So absolutely. Well, I'm so thankful for you. You know that. And I thank you for coming on and sharing your time with us today. If you guys that are listening have any questions, our podcast posts on Wednesday. Feel free to put any messages in the chat. You can find Holly on LinkedIn. Her name will show up on the screen so that you'll know how to spell Golebiowski, because it's we call her Holly G. She also has hollygcoaching.com. So, you know, we look forward to talking with you more in the future as things continue to evolve. And I appreciate you taking the time today to speak with me on here, Holly.
Thank you, Monica.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for your time, and thanks for listening in. Again, if you have any burning topics or questions, don't hesitate to put those in the comments. And I look forward to being back with you guys in another week or so with some more exciting guests. So have a great day, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much. Hey guys, if you like this episode, please hit like and subscribe.